Welcome, everybody, once again to another episode of Baby Hockey Talk. I'm Aaron Bloxel with my co-host, Mr. Matthew Balzer. Matthew, welcome to today's show. We're going to start with, a sad news in the Vancouver market. One of my favorite Vancouver Canuck beat writers for The Athletic, and he's also done work with TSN and the Vancouver province. Jason Botchford has passed away at the age of 48. I know he's influenced yourself and myself a lot on what goes on in this market. Friend of the show, and sad news today.
Yeah, he was my favorite Vancouver media person, just in general. His passion, his rants, the Athletics, the Provies.
He called it the way it was, right?
Yeah. And the way he interacted with the fans as well. Like when you read the Athletics or the Provies, you take fans like Twitter reactions and stuff, and he'd work it into his writings. He'd have like all the gifts from the games or whatever. It wasn't conventional like sports writing or article writing where you just sort of just go bland, paragraph. He did it in a fun way where it's just like, especially being a Canucks fan over the past few years, it's been a tough few years here watching the Canucks, and he brought it like his writing in a fun, interactive way. Just like even some like he brought up the bro, do your deeks. The flow, like I'm wearing the flow T-shirt with the Brock Besser. He helped promote that from some guys that started with the shirts, and then he put in the Athletics, and all of a sudden it took off, sort of thing. All the little like nicknames and stuff, like the little things, Louis for Louis Erickson, just stuff like that. But yeah,
even the alien, I think, came from him.
Yeah, the alien. But yeah, he's going to be greatly missed. Like especially when he left the province last season to go to the Athletic. He was the only reason why I went out and bucked up to subscribe to the Athletic, because he went there. It's because his stories are just that good. So if you have a chance to read up on any of his stuff, I know the Athletic unlocked all his stories, all the Athletics and all the stories that he did the past year for the Athletic. But yeah, and condolences to his wife and his 3 kids and his family and all the guys at TSN 1040 and everybody else. But yeah, he'll be greatly missed.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the hockey series that are going on right now. First of all, last night, Brad Marchand back up to his rat-like things. It was funny that the NHL had said that there was no suspension. I don't think it obviously deserved the suspension. I mean, it's a sucker punch to the back of the head, or a rabbit punch, as some people called it. It wasn't like he was doing a huge Todd Bertuzzi-esque like wind-up. But at the same time, I mean, that stuff happens a dozen times a game. Usually when you're face-to-face with somebody, they'll punch you in the mouth or the nose, or whatnot, or in the corner after a whistle. You see it a lot, but I mean, he pretty much threw a punch and ran and hid behind the ref like he always does. What are your, is that something that's going to catch up? I mean, we've always said it's going to catch up to him, but he's been in the box twice. Columbus has 2 power play goals when he's in the box. So you think this is going to be a way that Boston's going to distract Columbus going into the next game, or do you think Columbus, how do you think they're going to react to this?
Yeah, like I think Harrington himself, I think I saw it today, he just called it a hockey play. But yeah, it's just stuff like that, because it's just like you say, like you hear Marshall and he's like, oh, I'm going to change my ways or whatever and all that. And then like in game 1, like he stepped on Atkinson's stick and broke it. And then he does this. Like I think at most he gets fined or whatever. But the thing I hate is like when the NHL comes out and they said they call him to warn him not to do it again or whatever. But this is a guy that's been fined like 5 or 6 times in his career and has been suspended. So you think he'd have like enough warnings and stuff, and then he licking Callahan in the face last playoffs. It just boggles your mind. But like, I think Columbus has them right where they want them, because Bergeron and Marchand have been pointless in this series, and Pastrnak only has one goal, so they've held the big guns in check. So I think Columbus is sort of fine with that, or with the way things are, because if Marchand's more worried about doing that stuff than putting the puck in the net, I think they're happy with that.
Well, that big line, Marchand, Bergeron, and Pastrnak, if he's playing with them, or on the second line, they need to find a way to score, and they need to find a way to get past that huge brick wall in the Columbus goal. And Sergei Bobrovsky, how good is he playing right now?
Man, the guy is freaking unbelievable. It's just that one save that he had in the second period, like the Hasek like snow angel, where he dropped his stick and then somehow got his blocker on it to clear the puck. Is just freaking, yeah, as I said, unbelievable. 36 saves last night for the win. Columbus is up 2-1 in that series. Matt Duchene, another great game with the game-winning goal. But Bobrovsky, like this guy is unreal. Right now, he'd be my favorite for the Conn Smythe Trophy right now. And yeah, I'm hoping Columbus can get past the Bruins here, because after that, looking at Carolina and the New York Islanders, I think Columbus would match up really well with either of those teams in the conference finals. So, but yeah, as long as Bobrovsky keeps playing the way he is, I wouldn't be surprised if Columbus makes it to the Stanley Cup final.
Logan Couture gets the hat trick, finishes it off with the empty net. I thought down in my heart there, I thought Colorado was going to tie the game. The way McKinnon and Rantanen and Landeskog are playing, man, it's exciting hockey, that series. San Jose, I think, should be steamrolling them, but Colorado just won't go away.
I know, yeah. It's like, well, first that McKinnon shot coming off the bench, it's just like, oh man, I can watch that all day. But yeah, Logan Couture with the hat trick. Talk about one of the most clutch guys in the playoffs. Over the past decade, he's scored the second most goals out of all NHL players with 43. The only guy that scored more is Alexander Ovechkin with 50. I know the year that the Sharks went to the Cup final against the Penguins, he led all the playoffs with 30 points there, and right now he's up to 9 goals in 10 playoff games this year. So he's the leader of that Shark offense, and especially with Joe Pavelski out, he's really stepped up big time in this series.
Man, there was a lot of posts in that game last night too. San Jose, I think, easily could have had 6 or 7. Brett Burns picked up his play, now has 11 points in the playoffs. I think he had 2 or 3 goal posts last night alone. But San Jose up 2-1. In the Dallas-St. Louis series, St. Louis up 2-1. Game 4 later tonight. Esa Lindell flopping around like a fish out of water. Man, like, and it was ironic because when Pat Maroon pushed someone in front of the net to gain position and pick up the puck and score the winning goal with just over a minute left last game, it was Esa Lindell that was, whether he flopped or dove for the puck or actually got pushed, I don't think the refs cared, because at that point, it didn't matter what you did to him. They weren't going to call a penalty. I mean, how embarrassing was that for Lindell? And I think it cost them the game. Yeah,
talk about karma biting him in the ass there. It's just, man, it's just like the first time it's just like, okay. And then he does it a second time.
The third time was even worse.
and then he does it a third time. It's just like, oh my goodness. I'm like, and especially the way he's been playing the playoffs has been really good. It's just embarrassing to see somebody flopping around like that. It's just, especially in the playoffs, it's like everything is just about tough and nails, and it's like if you want to push them back or whatever, it's like get into it that way. It's like if you're flopping, it's like the ref's just like, yeah, you're going sort of thing. But yeah, it's like I laughed pretty hard with how easily he was going down. It's just like like a tweet, like, oh, he's going for his tryouts with the WWE coming up. But yeah, it's just pretty embarrassing.
Maxime Comtois, please take note. And congrats to roller hockey player, the big rig Pat Maroon on that big game-winning goal. St. Louis, if they win tonight, they'll be in full control in that series heading back to St. Louis. The other series, the Islanders and Carolina are currently tied 2-2 right now in the third. Islanders need this win bad, and they've actually outplayed and outchanced Carolina almost 2-1 in this series. Yet they found themselves down 2-0. Is there anything that they need to change, or do they just need to start scoring goals on Mrazek or McElhinney or whoever's in net?
Yeah, it's just you just got to score goals, because I think Leonard only let in 3 goals in the first 2 games. It's just like that. You got to eke out at least one win there. But yeah, it's like, well, McElhinney tonight, like, he had that amazing skate blade save on Leddy. But at least they're starting to put the puck in the net, because in the first 2 games, like, they had 2 goals disallowed, and the 1 goal they did score was just a deflection from Slavin into his own net. So they actually hadn't scored an actual goal until today. But yeah, it's like you got to get the puck in the net. The one thing I saw, though, on Leonard is that out of all the goals, I think in these playoffs, I think he's letting 6 to the blocker side. Was the thing that I saw, and that's something that's come up today as well, because Justin Falk on his goal in the second period there, where he came down deked to the blocker side and went upstairs for another goal there. That's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, the Islanders, they just got to find a way to put the puck in the net, and that was going to be my one big worry about them in the playoffs, was could they get timely scoring from their big guns. And through the first 2 games, it didn't look like it was going to go that way. But at least today, Taves and Bailey have the 2 goals so far. But yeah, if you don't get goal scoring, especially with Carolina starting to get a little bit more healthier up front, and I saw Svechnikov and Martinook are back in the lineup, and Michael Furlan is a high possibility to return in Game 4 for them. So they like, you got Aho and Teravainen and all those guys have been ripping it up there, and they're going to start to get some secondary support. And talk about another guy for Carolina, Jacob Slavin now has 11 assists in these playoffs. Talk about a guy that
underrated.
Yeah, he's been sort of underrated. Like, he's sort of been playing over the past couple of years where he's had really good numbers, but like this playoffs has been his coming out party for sure. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting if the Islanders don't win this game, because this looks like it could be going to overtime tonight. Then they're done.
Yeah, it'll be almost impossible to come back. They desperately need to win this game. Moving on. A minor trade in the NHL, I believe it was yesterday. Why don't you fill us in on those details?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this trade had been rumored, I think, earlier this month. But Adam Fox got traded from the Carolina Hurricanes to the New York Rangers for a 2019 second-round pick and a conditional 2020 third-round pick, which becomes a second-round pick if Fox plays 30 games for the Rangers next season. Fox was acquired by Carolina in the Dougie Hamilton trade. This past year in college for Harvard, he had 9 goals and 48 points in 33 games. Right-hand shot defenseman, highly touted. But the thing is, if he went back to college next season, he'd become a UFA at the end of the year. And Carolina tried to woo him to sign with them, but he just wouldn't have it. So it's sort of like the Jimmy Vesey situation with Nashville, who the Rangers also ended up getting. It's just one of those things where you couldn't afford to lose them for nothing. And getting most likely 2 second-round picks is actually a pretty good pickup for them.
And they were banged up enough that I thought maybe they were going to sign him and he was going to start playing in the playoffs here.
Oh man, and it's because I think I was reading up on BC. It's like Nashville, like they promised him like top 6 minutes right away and everything in the playoffs, but that still didn't do anything. So it's more just about where they want to play, especially if you can play in New York. That's a great place to go play.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you fill us in on some of the injury updates and some of your other minor notes there, and we're going to wrap today's show up. Not a lot to do today.
Yeah. So Joe Pavelski started skating by himself today. The Sharks haven't ruled him out of the second round, but I still think it's highly improbable, unless the series goes longer, that he'd return in the second round. Jonathan Drouin had no surgery today. He'll be out 2 to 3 weeks for the recovery. I think he broke his nose earlier in the season. That's just sort of repairing.
Did he cut his hair? That's all that people want to know.
Matt Calvert actually missed last night's game with an upper body injury, which was the result of that huge Brent Burns hit he took at the end of game 2, which helped set McKinnon up for that empty net goal. And I think that's about it for injuries. But Team Canada added Jared McCann to their World Championship roster. And Pavel Datsyuk, his contract's up in the KHL, and looks like there's a high possibility that he'll be returning to the NHL. Most likely not with Detroit just because of their cap situation. But that's something to keep an eye on. And that's about it.
Team USA added Jack Hughes, Adam Fox, and Christian Wolanin to their roster today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so teams are shaping up. I think the World Championships start on May 10th in Slovakia, so that'll be some good hockey to watch as the playoffs start to wind down.
Absolutely. All right, remember to like and share and comment on our page. That's B&B Hockey Talk on Facebook, as well as B&B Hockey Talk on YouTube. Remember to hit that subscribe button there. Let us know where you're listening in from and what you like about the show. Talk to us about your favorite team, favorite players you hate. You can talk about Marchand all you want on this show. And we thank you so much for your support, and we thank you guys for joining us. And we're going to see you guys all on Friday. Have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of the 2 hockey games.